You need to do this practical exercise now before we even begin. Close your eyes. Think about the last meal you ate. Do you remember how it smelled? The first bite? Or did you just eat it while scrolling through your mobile phone, barely tasting it and remembering what it tastes like? And here is crazy fact. 95% of people eat on autopilot these days, not even realizing what they are putting in their body. And yet we wonder why we feel bloated, tired, and even out of control with food. But today we can change that story. And I'm giving you the tool to completely transform the way you eat and your relationship with food. Without dieting, without counting calories, without obsessing. So let's get started. I know what it feels like to get completely out of control with food. I used to eat whatever I could, fast food. I was eating on autopilot. And then after eating, I was always tired, struggling with brain fog. I eat to stupor. Sometimes, yeah, it happens. And I was constantly craving for junk food, which is the case for so many people and millions in the world. But then I discovered what is called mindful eating, and this is it for you. And no, it's not about eating slowly. It's about simply understanding how the food affects your body, learning to listen to your body, and breaking free from food guilt. So in today's section, I'm going to show you 5 life-changing habits that will help you transform the way you eat and eat mindfully. Then you start eating without stress or guilt. You feel more energized throughout the day. And most importantly, truly learn how to enjoy your food. And by the end of this video, I promise you, you will walk away with a powerful tool that will change the way you eat forever. Promise. So let's look at why many people struggle with food. So the real reason most people struggle with food is not just willpower, right? Because we've been programmed to eat mindlessly. I recall when we were little, and it's like parents just want you to eat until your stomach is bloated or it's quite big and hard. That is when they believe you've been full. There is no measurement whatsoever. You just keep feeding the baby or the children with food until they are bloated. So the practical exercise I want you to do right now is the distraction test. So let's do an experiment right now so that the next time you eat, you pay attention to the food you eat and the relationship with your body. If you're eating or you want to take on food while watching this video or after this video, right? Take one bite of your food, then put down your fork, and then ask yourself, what does it actually taste like? Is it sweet? Is it salty? How does your body feel while eating it? Doing this, most people will realize that they don't even like half of the food they are eating. That's a simple fact. We just eat out of habit, and that's a game changer. Like I said, I was once eating on autopilot. So I once finished an entire family-sized bag of chips while watching Netflix. And I didn't even realize it until it was all finished. When I reached out for another handful and there was nothing left. That, my dear, is mindless eating. And it's costing us our health, our energy, and our confidence as truth. So what are the 5 habits of mindful eaters? Let's dive into this. So now that we understand the problem, let's fix it together. So the first habit, like I mentioned, eat without distractions. So step 1, no more eating while scrolling through your phone, Instagram, or watching TV. So you can imagine a scenario where you're mindlessly munching on snacks or chips, and before you know it, the bag is empty. Sound familiar? Sound familiar to me? That's because when we eat with distractions, our brain never fully registers how much we've eaten. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who eat while distracted consume up to 25% more calories than those who don't, or than those who eat mindfully, or those who focus on their meals. That's like eating an entire extra meal without realizing it. So for your next meal, what you can do, a practical exercise, is sit at a dining table with your meal, of course. Put away your phones, turn off the TV, put away your tablets, and simply just eat. And notice how much you feel satisfied with the less food intake. And then the second point, the 80% rule. Stop eating before you're full. That's 80%. You don't have to eat 100%. You don't have to eat until you're full and bloated. Stop eating before you're full. Most of us eat until we are stuffed. And some people even eat and are not able to get up from where they ate their food. But mindful eaters stop at 80% full. It usually takes 20 minutes for your brain to register that you're full. That's the science. So think about Thanksgiving dinners. How often have you eaten so much that you physically can't move after eating? That's because we are trained to eat until we feel full, F-U-L-L in capital letters, instead of satisfied. But in Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's longest living populations, Harahachibo, I hope I've pronounced it correctly. Pardon me if I haven't. A practice of eating until you are 80% full. Do we have any Japanese in the house? Drop an emoji in the comments. A research shows that this one habit significantly reduces obesity, which is a problem in our society today, and of course metabolic diseases. What if this was the secret to long-term health? So the next time you're eating, pause when you feel satisfied, not stuffed. Wait 10 minutes before deciding if you need to eat more. And then the next point is to slow down and simply savor each bite. Imagine eating your favorite meal. Now, instead of rushing it, you actually taste every bite. You feel it. And that's the power of eating slowly or eating mindfully. Not necessarily slow, mindfully. That's the power of eating mindfully. Imagine you are at a high-end restaurant and the waiter brings out a perfectly plated meal. What do? You take your time, appreciating every bite, even appreciating the presentation of the meal in your plate. But why don't we treat all our meals like this? Study shows that people who eat slowly consume fewer calories and feel full longer compared to those who rush through their meals. So challenge yourself today. Take twice as long to eat your next meal. Put yourself to the challenge. You eat bite at least 20 times and focus on the flavors. And then of course, eat based on hunger, not emotion. We eat for two reasons: hunger or emotion. Stress, boredom, sadness, you can name them. Food becomes our comfort. But what if you learn to separate those two? Picture this. You had a rough day, you are emotionally drained, and you are halfway through a pint of ice cream. But did that ice cream solve your stress? Or did it just give you a temporary distraction? Emotional eating is one of the reasons people struggle with weight and health. The key is learning to tell the difference between emotional hunger and physical hunger. True hunger comes gradually, and any food will satisfy it. On the other hand, emotional hunger is instant and craves specific food. When we learn to differentiate between the two, we take control. So, for your next meal, before you eat it, pause and ask yourself, am I truly hungry or just seeking comfort? If it's emotional, try drinking water, journaling, or taking a 5-minute walk, or listening to music. And of course, the fifth point, the 1-minute pause before eating. Before you take that first bite, pause for 1 minute. Ask yourself, am I actually hungry? How does my body feel? Do I need this food? Imagine being served a plate of food and without thinking about it, you dive right in. Now, imagine if you took 60 seconds before that first bite. You take a deep breath and truly appreciate the meal in front of you. This small habit can make a more mindful and intentional experience. Study shows that practical gratitude before meals actually improves digestion and reduces stress-related eating. So take that on board. So for your next meal, you can practice setting a timer for 1 minute before eating. You might sound like how many people will do that, but humor me and try it. And then use that time to breathe, observe your food, and express gratitude. A thought, the way you eat is a reflection of how you live. That's a thought. When you slow down, become mindful, and truly listen to your body, everything changes. Drop a plate emoji in the comment section today if you're ready to try mindful eating today. So let's talk about the science of how food affects our brain. Imagine this, you take a bite of donuts and suddenly your brain lights up. like a Christmas tree. Why? Because sugar triggers the same dopamine release as cocaine. Yes, you heard that right. Processed food are designed to hijack your brain's reward system, making you crave for more and more without even realizing it. So this isn't about willpower. Your cravings aren't random. They are the result of carefully engineered food designed to keep you hooked. Ever wondered why that bag of chips is impossible to put down? It's because manufacturers spend millions perfecting the bliss point, the perfect ratio of sugar, salt, and fats to make the food as addictive as possible. But here is the good news. You can rewire your brain to crave healthier food. It takes time, but just like any tiny habit, the more you expose your taste buds to real, whole food, the more your brain adapts to prefer them. Think about it. If you stop eating processed sugar for a few weeks, suddenly a fresh piece of fruit starts tasting incredible. That's neuroplasticity at work. So try this for the next 7 days. Cut out added sugars and processed food. And by the end of the week, you'll notice food tastes richer, your energy levels are higher, and those cravings are totally gone. Drop an emoji below if you're in. So final thought for you. Your brain is powerful, so are you. Change what you eat, and you will change the way you think, feel, and live. Drop an emoji comment in the chat if you're ready to take control of your cravings today. So now I'd like to talk about something very important to me. A cause I hold dear, making a global impact. So donate instead of overeating. So let's take a moment to reflect. While many of us have the privilege of abundant food, there are millions also who face a startlingly different situation. Now consider this. In 2023, about 733 million people, that's 1 in every 11 individuals globally, suffered from hunger. In Africa, the situation is even serious, with 1 in every 5 people affected. The impact on children is particularly heartbreaking. In 2023, over 36 million children under the age of 5 were acutely malnourished across 32 countries. Imagine if, instead of spending money on excess food, excessive eating, mindless eating, overeating, we redirect a portion of that to help those in need. Just $10 can provide a meal for a family for 1 week. If this resonates with you, consider donating to organizations like the WFP, Action Against Hunger, and many other organizations, the one that is, the one we feel comfortable donating to. And together we can make a difference with the food we eat endlessly. So instead of overeating, think of those who can afford a grain of rice. So we've covered a lot today. Why we eat aimlessly, why we eat mindlessly, the 5 habits of mindful eaters, and how to reset your cravings. So if you're ready to take action today, download my mindful eating tracker to start today. And if you need personal coaching, book a free consultation with me. Your relationship with food starts today. Are you ready to take back control? Thank you for staying with me up until this moment, and I hope to see you in my next video.